Should I start? It's already 3 now.
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. Um, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's webinar. As you are all aware, Guru Nanak Dev University, under the stewardship of our Vice Chancellor, Dr. Jaspal Singh Sandhu, and Director IQAC, Dr. Ashwini Luthra, has been organizing a series of webinars to share the knowledge we acquired during the submission of our SSR reports. So far, 3 webinars have been organized in this series, and these were focusing on data pertaining to teachers, students, as well as research. Now, today, in our 4th and final webinar, Dr. Tejwant is going to talk about the data pertaining to accounts, as well as grants and some other non-teaching branches. But before I go ahead, I would request our Director IQAC, Dr. Luthra, to please shed some more light on this aspect. Sir.
Thank you, Dr. Gagan, for narrating what are we doing and why are we doing. Basically, we thought of organizing this series of webinars to get our affiliated colleges and associated institutions acquainted with what the SSR requires. And I may share with you that even the Punjab government is organizing a webinar series on different aspects of this SSR, and that is confined to the government and government-rated colleges. And that relation, I think we were a little ahead, where we were facilitating the non-government and non-government aided colleges as well. So it is in this regard that 5 webinars were identified, and we clubbed few aspects. And out of 5, we have already organized 3, and this is the 4th webinar we are organizing. And the last webinar, which will be on institutional practices and institutional policies and best practices, that we will organize sometime. For the reason that now these webinars are organized one after the other, and I have got a feedback that probably some of the colleges are having some pressure of academics and exams or so on and so forth. So we will take some break. That's why Dr. Gagan said that this is last of the series, but that is in the context that we are going to take some break, and the last, which is institutional policies and best practices, that we will hold some other time. All these 7 criteria of SSR are very important, and I would share with the colleges the document that is pertaining to colleges. Reason being, whatever we are showing you is for the university, and some of the aspects are cut from the university. Colleges have lesser to give, but that lesser is just by 10%. 90% is whatever we are telling you, that is there. So it is in this context that all these webinars which are being conveyed you with, they are to facilitate you that this is how you have to work for your SSR whenever you are whenever you are applying for your accreditation. At the same time, now 15th of October is one date for AQAR 2021, and 31st December is another date to file your AQAR for 21-22. And AQARs are also on the pattern of SSR now. So all these webinars are to facilitate you, and more you join, more you inquire, you will get the benefit of this. And we expect that we would be successful in serving you in the context that maybe we have done something good for you, helping you. So in this regard, I would welcome all the participants to this webinar, and particularly the distinguished speaker of the day, Dr. Tejwan Singh Kang. Uh, Actually, when we were doing this SSR, we divided different criteria amongst ourselves. And Dr. Tejwan Kang, he was awfully engaged, deeply engaged in this accounts and grants section. So he knows nitty gritty of accounts and grants, and this particular portion carries many marks. I would say heavy weightage is assigned to this. And it is in this context, I would suggest that you may inquire anything, because whenever the NAC committee comes, it goes into the finances and grants part. A lot of inquiries are there by the committee. So how the things are to be maintained, what kind of data they ask for, he will be narrating those things to you. And if you have any doubts, you would be most welcome to clarify your doubts, so that in the end you are the beneficiaries. So with these words, I welcome once again all of you, and I welcome my distinguished speaker, and I thank Dr. Gagan for taking this responsibility of moderating today's webinar. And with this, I hand it over to Dr. Gagan for the proceedings of the webinar. Thank you, Dr. Gagan. Kindly unmute yourself, Dr. Gagan.
Sorry. Yeah, thank you, sir. So as Dr. Luthra has already talked about, our esteemed speaker for today is Dr. Tejwan Kang, who is an associate professor in the Department of Chemistry at Guru Nanak Dev University and has been associated with IQAC since 2019 as assistant director. He works in the field of sustainable chemistry, but as Sir rightly pointed out, knows a lot about the data pertaining to accounts and grants for SSR. And I will ask Dr. Tejwan to please start the webinar series now. Dr. Tejwan.
Thank you, Dr. Gagan and Professor Luthra, for a nice introduction. So at the end of this series, so-called end of this series, so I'm going to discuss the work pertaining to accounts or grant section, along with some other data which is related with non-teaching branches for NAC SSR. So as Professor Luthra mentioned, there is a heavy weightage for the points for this data, accounts and grants. And for certainly when the NAC team visits, they are going to ask so many questions, so many queries for this data. Okay, so by not taking much time, I'm just going to start with this one. Okay. So actually, this data, we have planned the presentation in a serial order. Like we will start from some of the criteria, because this data is from different criteria 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So some I would like to say some of the data pertains to criteria 2, criteria 3, criteria 4, or criteria 5. So accordingly, we have scheduled this presentation. So in first of the criteria, which is related to examination branch. Okay, so this is the criteria 2.5.4, the status of automation of examination, along with the approved examination manual. So what NAC demands there? They need our examination system to be fully automated. This means like we have certain things which we have to reply in yes or no. The first one is 100% automation of entire division, implementation of examination management system. So from the examination management system, we means like starting from the admission forms, starting from the examination form by the students till the declaration of results and downloading of the mark sheets, it should be online. So we have to put yes or no only this one, but before that we have to be fully automated, especially with regard to examination system. The second thing is, okay, so what I have told, the student registration, it should be automatic. For that, like in our university, what we do, we have a student login portal. Okay, so student used to register at the portal by using their own unique registration IDs and passwords. The hall ticket is being issued by the university electronically, which can be downloaded from anywhere by the students. And similarly, the processing of the results, it should also be automated. Why this needs to be automated? Why NAC wants this? The reason behind this is there should not be much delay between the end of one semester and the beginning of the next semester. Okay, if the results are processed automatically, electronically, it will take much less time. And as per the ruling by the Supreme Court, we cannot waste much of the time in the results and other systems. Okay, so the university should open for a certain or any institution should open for a certain number of days, particular number of days in the that academic year. Uh, so there are different options. 100% automation. You can put yes or no, or we can go with okay. So our colleges give you student registration, hall ticket, and result processing are automated, or only the results processing is automated. So if you put 100% automation, it means we are fully automated, and for this criteria, one can score whatever marks are being allotted to this criteria. But along with that, we have to show the NAC team. Even for the filing the SSR report, we have to give certain proofs that our system is entirely automated. We can give the screenshots of our system which is being which has been automated, or there is one examination manual. Okay, examination manual is it has to be uploaded along with the SSR as a supporting document. If you don't upload during the data validation and verification, the NAC people would ask for that. The approved examination manual is like what are the steps a university or an institute follows from the beginning of the examination until the end of the examination, and it should also describe the part which is being automated in the examination system. So the last option is there whether we follow manual methods. If we write like we follow manual methods, we are not going to get much score. So depending on the situation of college, we can take any one of these. But if we, because every point is very important, weight is quite there. So the institute must think about the automation of entire division for the control of examinations. Okay, the next point over there is the criteria 3.1.2. The institute provides seed money to its teachers for research. So all of you are aware from the point like what seed money is. Seed money is some amount of seed money, some amount of money, which is generally being provided to the newly recruited faculty for starting up their own research work, the results of which can be used to further write the projects. However, the seed money can also be given to any of the faculty who is doing good research for initiating some project, so that based on his or her preliminary results, one can write the detailed project to some funding agency. So basically, this is in the tabular form. So we have to provide the name of the teacher, amount of the seed money given, and year of receiving. So one caution is there, this data is for 5 years. Okay. So when we provide the name of the teacher, like teacher XYZ gets this much amount of money and this money has been received. So we need certain amount of certain papers basically, like policy document for sanction of the seed money. Further, like a college can prepare a policy document. They can make their own policy, which should be totally approved by the competent authority of the colleges. Like for every, for example, like the college is going to give this much amount of seed money for the every new recruited faculty, or one can say that we have to also keep the award letters ready with us when we upload this SSR. The DVV, in the DVV, the people are going to ask about the award letters, about the seed money which has been provided to different faculty for those last 5 years. So we have to think rationally. We have to maintain each and every data, not only the grant letters, award letters. Sometimes they are going to ask about out of the total money allocated for a certain project to a particular teacher, what percentage of money he or she has used. Like they also need the utilization certificate duly signed by the competent authority, or sometimes they may ask, okay, one thing you may consider, for every data related to accounts where the money comes, they may ask the authentication of data from the chartered accountant also. So we have to prepare some policy document that our institute used to give seed money to the newly recruited faculty or some other by some other policy matter, and you have to keep the award letters with you at any stage of the NAC SSR. So I've written over there the policy document or award letter. They are must. People are going to ask for that. Next is just the number 3.1.4, the number of junior research fellows, SRFs, postdocs, or other research associates which are enrolled for research in your institution. I don't know about this particular point whether it is pertaining to colleges or not, but in this one, like this is just the name of the research fellow, in which year he has enrolled, duration of fellowship, whether the fellowship is for 3 years, like for JRF. If it is for SRF, it's 2 years. Even one can write JRF for 5 years. Okay. The type of fellowship, again JRF, SRF, whether it is PD or research associate. Then the name of the granting agency. The granting agency can be DST, DVT, UGC, anyone. Here, one thing is that not only the open JRF or SRFs. Many times in your own research projects, many JRF or SRFs used to work as the research fellows. One can write their names also in this one because they are already getting the fellowship from some funding agency. Let's say if you have some project supported by Department of Science and Technology, and a JRF is working and getting fellowship from that, you can include his or her name over there. And then the other column is qualifying exam, if any. So if he has qualified net or gate, we can also write over there. So this is just the data, but we need to a stock of this data along with us if we are going preparing for NAC SSR after 1 year or 2 years. So we have to collect this data for previous 4 years also and the current year also. This data is for 5 years. It's a very tedious task, but it would be like quite easy if we take the stock of data from now on for the upcoming NAC team. Similarly, the NAC is going to ask about how many number of departments in your college or institute are supported by UGC, SAP, CAS, DST, FIS, DBT, ICSSR, or some other recognition by national and international agencies. For example, like RUSA grant is there. In many of the colleges, whatever I have seen, even affiliated to this university, especially with the science discipline, because I used to visit those departments. So they have got some grant from UGC, SAP. Even they have got some grant like maybe up to 2 crores I have seen in one of the colleges from DST, FIS, Department of Science and Technology. So they need the number of departments out of the total departments of your institute who have been awarded or who have been supported by these particular accreditations or recognitions by the particular agencies. And again, to support our claim, we need the award letters which are used to be uploaded along with the SSR as the supplementary documents. It's not like we can write this much number of the departments, but we have to keep with us the supporting documents for each and every step what we are doing, not in the accounts for the whole SSR. So similarly, if we go with the next slide. Okay, sorry. The next slide is 3.2.1, 3.2.2. The criteria pertains to extramural research funding for research. Here we have to put the grants sponsored by some non-government sources. Like 3.21.1 pertains to the grants which are supported by non-government sources such as industry, corporate houses, international bodies for research, chairs in the university, or some endowment, some sort of funding given by some individuals for a particular task, for some lectureship award, we can say, for providing fellowships to the students. Okay, so that would not be there. For doing a particular, like, okay, another example would be, like, sometimes people used to initiate some lectures, okay, lectureship awards in the name of some renowned scientist. So they used to donate money to the institutes, colleges, and universities. So in 3.2.1, only the non-government sources we have to put over there. And in the case of 3.2.2, this is the research project sponsored by government agencies. So again, government agencies like DST, DBT, CSIR, ICCR, Indian Council of Cultural Relations, ICSSR, Indian Council of Social Science and Scientific Social Science Research, So we have to keep the detailed account of grants received. We have to provide the utilization certificate for last 5 years, what amount of money you have received for a particular project, what amount of money we have utilized in that, along with the name of the scheme, who was the principal investigator. So it's in a tabular form, and the total amount of funds, they matter. Like the NAC has decided some sort of criteria which is not known to everybody, even not known to us. Like we can say that this much amount, the criteria would definitely be different for colleges. The colleges cannot be compared to the research institutes or the universities. Okay, because in colleges the research culture is quietly different as compared to universities and as well as the universities. So again, for that, let's say for your college, 15 such projects have been sanctioned for last 5 years. You have to keep stock of each and every penny you have received and spent. They may ask for the stock register. They may ask for the utilization certificate duly signed by the CA. They may ask for the award letters for different projects. Along with that, not only this, there is another point, the number of research projects per teacher funded by government. Okay, this is the data which the portal at NAC SSR is going to calculate by itself. When you put the number of total number of teachers in your institution, let's say 300, and number of research projects you have got 50, let's say 50 in last 5 years. So the number of research projects per teacher funded by government agencies, it should be there around zero point 0.6 or zero point 0.7 for the last 5 years. So that is generally calculated by the software itself. So but we have to, again I am stressing on the point, you have to keep each and every record, each and every paper, you have to be with you. Because what happens, many times the college feels like this much number of projects, but at the time when the NAC team used to visit, we cannot convince them, we cannot provide them the documents, then it always gives a bad expression. So that we have to avoid in this case. The data in point 3.3.2 pertains to the workshops or seminars conducted on research methodology, intellectual property rights, entrepreneurships, and skill development. So a college has to organize some webinars, seminars, or some other lecture series on research methodology for the research scholars, even for the teachers we can put, for the awareness about intellectual property right, how we can secure our intellectual property, how we can go with the industry for some transfer of licenses for particular developed things, entrepreneurship, and some other skill development. So we have to keep the record of the name of the webinar, how many participants have participated in that, along with the date. Now in the table there is a point link to the activity report. Okay, the person who was the convener of so and so seminar or webinar, he has to provide the activity report which you have to provide on your website. You can develop some particular portal for NAC SSR before the filing of SSR data. We can keep our documents over there. One can easily download from there. It would be easy for you to also. So activity report should be signed by the convener. In the activity report, what we have to put? Again, this was the seminar. What we have done on that, what was the theme? How many number of participants were there? Along with that, we can also provide some brochures of the seminar. We can keep record of some of the photographs to provide authenticity to our data, that this is with us, what we have done. I've written over there the brochures, photographs, or even we can display some of the activities on our websites, and it would be quite easy while filing the SSR data, what type of activities, what number of activities a particular college or a particular department has done. So this is all about 3.3.2. The next slide is pertains to criteria 3.5.2, the revenue generated from consultancy and corporate training. Again, this is in the tabular form. There is a policy from UGC. Okay, so the college or some university has to adopt the policy that if some teacher gets himself or herself involved in the consultancy projects from some industry, from government agency, or from a particular small industries, a particular share of the money coming from that consultancy or particular share from that consultancy amount should go to the consultant. I don't know actually how it is, but I think it's around 40% or 60% of the amount goes with the consultant and 40% amount of the money goes with the university, or it could be vice versa. I'm not sure about that. One can check it with that. So a college can adopt that policy given by the UGC to enhance the consultancy, to enhance the habit of doing consultation with the industries, among your teachers, among your researchers. So we have to provide the name of the consultant, what consultancy project has been done, what was the sponsoring agency, whether it is some government institute, let's say Punjab government, or some particular office of the government, or some industry, along with the year and revenue generated, we have to be given along with that. So similarly from corporate training, we have to provide the revenue generated. So I don't know whether this criteria of corporate training is incorporated in the SSR for the colleges or not. Basically, the corporate training is one can give training of different softwares, some industrial visits, the visit of industrial people for handling of certain type of instruments, for carrying out certain type of research, for some data analysis. So we have to provide the details of that here also. Now the question rises, what type of supporting document? Because data filling is like one can give the data, we have with us the data. The data used to be original, but we need the supporting documents. Whatever the agreement we do with the industry or some government office for consultancy or corporate training, the agreement can be an affidavit or some other MOU. We have to keep ready with that. That should be uploaded along with the NAC SSR. The next criteria is criteria 3.6.3. It's not related with the account. It's related with the extension and outreach programs conducted by the institution through NCC and NSS or government and government recognized bodies. So in this also, we have to provide the data in the Excel form. During NSS or NCC for last 5 years, how many number of activities we have done? But the activity has been organized by NCC or NSS or some other government or government recognized bodies. The name of the scheme should be here like the title of the activity, whether it is the like Swachhta Pakhwada in some village, or is the tree plantation drive in particular area. One can write over there, and the number of students who participated in this activity. So one can provide this one. The supporting document for these activities is the particular register for the NCC and NSS offices. Okay, they have to maintain the register. They used to maintain even the number of students along with their addresses, phone numbers, and the name of the students who have participated in a particular event. That register generally used to be uploaded as a scanned copy along with the this data for the extension and outreach activities. This is having a quite heavy weightage because we are not only confined to our research or teaching in the college also, we have some social responsibility. The universities and colleges are given some social responsibility which we have to take care of. So another name for this is extension and outreach activities. How we are reaching the people outside the university. What we are doing, like let's say like one can organize the science lecture programs or scientific workshops in some schools in the remote villages where it's very difficult even to visit to create the awareness among students about the science. So similarly, some other programs can be organized for that. More is the number of programs, more is the number of participants, more weightage will be given to you. So this is the list of the extension activities. Like this will go in the Excel sheet also. So another important thing here is one have to provide the brochures of that event, some photographs. We can display these activities on our websites, and we have to keep the record of all the participants in these activities. The next point pertains to criteria 3 as 3.7.1, the collaborative activities for research, faculty exchange, student exchange, or internship per year. So again, the data is provided in the tabular form. Here they have given like the collaborative activities for research. what type of collaboration we are doing with other institutions of national and international repute or some other industry for research. We have to give each and every detail of that activity. Whether our college or institute has initiated some work on faculty exchange or student exchange with the institutions of international and national repute, again, it's given the quite high weightage. Uh, the most important point in this one is the first point. We can see like collaborative activities for research. When we used to publish some research papers in which we have some collaboration or collaborator from other institute. Let's say you are doing some research in Khalsa College Amritsar and you have a collaborator from IIT Delhi. Okay, so we can easily write over there title of the collaborative activity. We can write title of our research work, name of collaborating agency, it should be IIT Delhi. Number of the participants should be number of the authors. Year of collaboration should be the year of publication. Duration, it can go up to 1 year or 2 years because once you initiate a collaboration, it can go along with that. Nature of the research activity, research and development, you can say. We can also write the collaborative research work and link to the relevant document. This is most important. Suppose you have published 50 research papers in collaboration with other institutions. You have to provide the link of each and every research paper in the different rows for that. So that is a tedious task, but we have to do it. So this is one of the way to get marks from there because many of the institutions, especially colleges, don't have the faculty exchange or student exchange programs with the industry or with the other institution. So the one of the way to get points from there is to show the collaborative activities for research. Okay. Next, going with the again in the criteria 3, the point is 3.7.2. The functional MOUs during the last 5 years you have signed and these which are functional now with other institutions or industries in India, abroad, or the internships, job training, project work, student faculty exchange, and collaborative research. So we have to provide a scanned copy of the MOUs signed with the institutions or industries in India or abroad, which are related to internship. Let's say like the student from applied chemistry or student from some other pharmaceutical departments, they go for internship in the industry. The student from commerce department or some other department pertains to finances, they go for the job training in the industries. Student go for project work, summer training in some other institutes. So one has to sign the MOUs with the institutes pertaining to all these things. And here comes only the number of functional MOUs along with the list and the scanned copy of all of the MOUs which are functional till now. So we have to provide with that. Okay. So this is just the data in the tabular form. The next criteria again pertains to the accounts data, which we have to get from the accounts. The 4.1.4 and 4.4.1. Again, it's in the tabular form. Expenditure, the title is expenditure for infrastructure augmentation excluding salary. What NAC asked for? They want to know like what amount of money out of our total budgetary provisions we have spent on infrastructure. What infrastructure we have developed, what percentage of money we have spent on infrastructure augmentation excluding salary. It should not like with that like we are not maintaining our infrastructure, we are not developing new infrastructure. So there should be certain sort of percentage which we have to spend out of the total budgetary provisions on infrastructure augmentation. Similarly, you have created the infrastructure. However, what percentage you are spending on maintenance of physical facilities as well as academic support facilities. So the data is just again, it's the data in the tabular form here. Total budget allocated for infrastructure augmentation, expenditure for infrastructure augmentation, then total expenditure. What you have, like one thing is on infrastructure, what total expenditure you have done excluding salary. Out of that, what amount you have spent on academic maintenance of facilities, whether these are academic or physical facilities. Now the question rises like what one can by the chartered accountant. Not only this, when the team visits, they may ask for you for the complete record where you have augmented this money. They can ask from the maintenance department, okay, what type of maintenance you have done, how much amount you have spent on the maintenance of particular things. They can also ask for the vouchers. Sorry, they can also ask for the money vouchers for that. They can also ask for the orders placed for the, like, let's say we are saying like in a college we have purchased a Xerox machine of by spend three Xerox machines by spending 3 crores. They can ask you the purchase order for that. They can ask you the audited financial statement for that. That should be audited by the your own auditor. They, that should also be signed by the chartered accountant, and also by some other competent authority, let's say principal or some other official in that case. So the data is most important in this case. Whatever data we are providing, we have to give the actual data for which we have sufficient supporting documents. Whatever we have done, we have to put exactly same figures, and we have to keep data, all those registers ready with the accounts branch when the team used to visit. Because the team, whenever the team visit your college, they are certainly going to visit the accounts branch. They would certainly spend 3 4 5 hours over there checking all these things. They can get some specialists from commerce or some financial studies also. So we have to take care of all these things. Okay, so I have written over there the purchase vouchers, audited statements, cash memos, accounts records. Definitely they are going to check this one. Then comes, this is related with the library from the criteria 4.2.2, the whether the institute has access to the e-journals, Shodh Ganga, e-books, databases, Shodh Sindhu, remote access to e-sources. You have to just tick out of these 6 resources, what resources your college or your library has. If you tick 4 or more than 4, you are going to get the full marks. For 3, the marks are less. For 2, the marks are less. Even if you have 6, we have the option of just tick it down. We have access to 4 or more than out of these ones. Along with that, we have to provide this data in the form of tabular. Whatever amount we spend on these resources, it has to be provided, duly signed by the competent authority. Okay, so this is the table. The library resources, let's say books. If yes, we have the books. Okay, how many amount of money you have spent during last 5 years, and that account should go for every year, for every respective year. Okay, for, let's say, for the year 2016-17, then 17-18, this table should for 5 tables for different years. So then expenditure, whatever you have spent for the subscription of books or these sources, and then in the column 4, you will give the total library expenditure. It's not the expenditure on these books or e-journals. This is the total expenditure on all these for a particular year. Again, the main point is linked to the relevant document. Now the question rises over there, what the relevant document is. What documents we can provide to them, that we have e-journals, e-books, or we have Shodh Ganga access, we have certain databases. Whenever we used to get the access to e-journals or e-books, e-Shodh Sindhu, we generally purchase orders. Okay, we generally put purchase orders to the e-journals. Okay, we need the subscription for this much journals from RSE, from Vile, from ESI journals, from these Scopus journals. We provide them certain amount of money. Earlier it was like that the UGC used to spend money, and the institutes and universities were given access by the UGC directly. Their libraries were assessed by the given access by the UGC directly. Nowadays, universities or institutes have to spend money from their own pocket for this one. For those purchase orders, we have to keep record of all those purchase orders. We can give the purchase orders over there. Along with that, we can also give the screenshots of certain ebooks and e-Shodh Sindhu or Shodh Ganga, which is available in our university or institute's library. So this data, again, it should be duly signed and verified by the chartered accountant, and by the financial audited statements they may also ask for. This point 4.2.4, again, it's part day uses of library by teachers and students. The NAC wants to inquire about how many percentage of your students and teachers learn. they are having the access to library. This includes footfall, their physical presence in the library, and their login data for online access. So here they are just going to what number of teachers have visited per day. Sorry, what number of teachers and students have visited library per day in a particular academic year. And this data, I'm sure this is for the current academic year. In which academic year you will put your NAC SSR. For that academic year, this data used to be given. So the number is one can calculate easily if we have the records in the library, how many number of users per year we were having, and per day divided by total number of students and teachers in the institution for that particular year. Let's say your institute have like 2000 students and the number of teachers is 70, it's 2070. So one can easily get this number. And but however, again, when we submit the SSR, in the DVV, they are certainly going to ask about the uh, details of the footfall register or login register, we can say. We can keep the entry register. You have to enter the each and every visitor in your institute. If a student visit like 3 times a day, okay, that is generally considered as one. So you have to maintain the logbook. Sometimes you have the reading rooms over there. Students don't used to visit the main library, but they used to visit in the reading room. You have to keep record of that reading room also. You have to keep the number of teachers who have given access to the who have been given allocation of the books. Along with that, we have to keep the record of online users. Online users, like how many number of teachers have accessed the library from their own computer, whether they are sitting at home or they are sitting in your institute. In this, like we can also consider the number of downloads. For let's say for the e-journals, if a teacher is doing research, he has download like certain 1 or 2 papers in different number of days. So his every login should be considered as one. So we have to keep record of every physical entry as well as online entry in the library for getting full marks from there. And then in the criteria 4.4.2, there are established systems and procedures for maintaining and utilizing different divisions in your institution, like physical, academic, and support facilities. You have a maintenance department. You have the plumber. You have the other persons working over there. Okay, you are maintaining your physical infrastructure. You are maintaining your academic infrastructure. Generally, like academic comes with the like in the university, we have the dean academic affairs. You have some support facilities, like in the physical education department, you have the grounds. The HOD looks after the all the physical support facilities. You have the laboratory, you have the libraries, you have some lecture complexes, computers, you have the classrooms. So we have to write this one in a detailed manner. However, we have to restrict our writing up to 500 words only. So we have to describe ourselves that we have established systems and we follow particular set of rules and procedures for the maintenance of all our physical, academic, and support facilities. So just it's a write up over there. And then from the criteria 5, there comes like the number of students who have been benefited by the scholarships and free ships. So it has been particularly emphasized that we have to provide the fellowships and free ships, excluding the student receiving scholarship under the government schemes for reserve categories. So many of the like we have a scheme for SC students in the Punjab government funded, I think partially shared by the central government. So we don't have to consider those students for the provision of scholarships and free ships. One can give the scholarship, like institute have some free ships. Let's say for the sports persons, if you have certain well placed sports persons in your